Alright, check, check. This better be recording and not just telling me it can hear my mic. Otherwise I'm going to have some serious complaints for the overseers. It's bad enough I already had to get my own mic, and all I could find was this cheap PC headset. But I'm going to assume that you lot can hear me complain right now when it's working. With that in mind, hello. I know what you're likely asking yourself, well, other than, where the hell is the place you're in, or why are you here? The main one is likely, why is a still image on a screen talking to me? I will answer all your questions, provided no monumental mistakes were made, and this somehow ended up in the general population, in which case we do have protocol. You are here because you applied for a job and passed the interview. This is the training grounds, and I am the current head archivist, codename Archivist Whiskey. If I sound annoyed, it is because I was told only today that my superior died 3 years ago, and, well, no one told me, and I now have to record all new tapes for everyone because you can't keep the old ones because they've gone out of date. Now, I'm aware that it may be strange, but this place you chose to work at was actually a front for us. A lie used to both make us some money and keep us hidden. Again, do not worry, oh, wow, I forgot how bad this line of the script was. It was bad when it was read to me. I'm just saying, we are the good guys. Just, wow, management, why? Sorry, alright, look. Your job is to keep people safe, not just humans, not just the normal, but even the strange and anomalous. We study the strange, determine what it needs. Does it need to be protected? Do people need to be protected from it? Can we just set up a camera and keep it monitored? These are the kinds of things that we need to determine, and that is the mission of the group. We are the Supernatural Protection Organization, SPO for short. We tend to go by departments as well, so you have the archivists, the researchers, the agents, the operatives, and the force members. All of whom are important in their own different way, all serve a different role within the organization, and I will explain them in order of operations for finding something in the world you just left that could be considered an anomaly. Agents will look through news reports, online, and anywhere else where you might find anything that could be potentially anomalous being shown off. Then we do a basic check to see if it's high risk, or even if it's anomalous at all, or if it's an anomaly that's worth collecting, because there are plenty of anomalies that are not worth collecting. Then, if it's just simply, let's go with the example of a pencil sharpener that anomalously produces pencils, we have them go out and buy the pencil sharpener. It's simple as that. They bring it back to the researchers and send. If, say, there's an anomalous building, however, they report it to the operatives, who will set up a perimeter along with some force agents to keep the site contained as they await the arrival of researchers. If it's a dangerous object, they will actually report it to the force members, who will come and contain it and then bring it to the researchers. No matter what, it eventually ends up in the hands of the researchers, however, and at the end of everything, every bit of information on the creature comes back to the archives, where me and the other archivists will put it in files and file it away, so that if you need it, you can get it, and I have to record more tapes. That was a gross oversimplification, but you know, can't get too far into the job you're not going into, now can I? We don't want you thinking about how, oh, the agents get to have more fun, or, but the researchers get to. You have a job, and that's not likely to be similar to theirs. But thankfully, we are going to be able to teach you, and I'll need to go in depth with the archives and how we function to people joining the archive. For now, though, let's get onto the standard kit for everyone, and some other things that we need to cover. For example, the power structure of our organization. This is an important thing, as is obvious, it's the power structure, and it breaks down into 3 groups. Command, overseers, and then your department. Command consists of the founders, which there are 3 of, the council, of which there are only ever 12 members of at any given time, and those members are unknown to everyone except for the founders, and it is speculated Counselor number 1. It's for their safety, however. And lastly is the ministers, of which there are 36, and there only ever seems to be about that many. Now, after command comes the overseers. These are the admin, the foreman, and site command. Lastly, you have your departments, which have ranks, and we cannot get into that in these video logs. We'll cover them in a later one at least. But for now, we have other things to cover, and figuring out who outranks you in a thing that you're not even in yet doesn't even scratch the top 10. Now, I'm sure you've noticed some people around you with animalistic features. Horns, eyes, ears, and tails of an animal of some kind. These are called demi-humans. They're not furries, and really, I've gotten into too many debates about why they're called that, and I'd rather just not get into it. All that matters is that they are no different to you when it comes down to a majority of the rules. There are rules that are different for them to deal with certain conditions that they have, but they have rules that are specially made to keep them safe for these contingencies, and breaking them will get them about as much of a punishment as breaking the original rule would get you. Now, you might have also noticed that in the room, on some of the tables around you, there are weapons called Glock 19s. They have suppressors and laser sights. They've been stripped and are in pots on the tables. The good news is that one of those should have your name with them. The bad news is that you have to put it together. Thankfully, I don't have to explain that to you. The guy in the red suit in the front of the room does, and he is much better at explaining it than I ever could hope to be. If you do not have one, please report to him, by the way. He will likely just have you in the wrong group, as we typically run these with multiple groups a day, and he likely has yours set up in another group for another room. And so you don't have to re-listen to this. He'll just take your gun out of that room and have you build it in front of him, basically in a private session. This is a courtesy and an apology to you. It does not go with points against you. You might have also noticed that with these weapons, there are suits of different colors. Black, white, and gray. These are meant to be the groups. People who are going to be in black suits are going to be called members of Group Alpha. Gray in Group Beta. And white belong to Group Gamma. Group Delta are your supervisors. They're going to be the people in the colorful suits, so that you can identify them. The people in the red are to be called your instructors. People in blue are the supervisors. Do not worry, their job is just to ensure that training goes well. Oh, one other thing. Please be aware that we are counting every bullet you fire, and every loud noise you make, really. You are a lot louder than you think, as are the gunshots. Lastly, for what we absolutely need to cover, you're on an active base. And the one you are on, the one that we have set for training right now, sadly has one of our most dangerous objects on file on it. If it breaks free, we will start getting everything ready to console and compensate your families for the loss they are inevitably going to experience. It will take us 3 hours to get the Nightmare Division to your location. So you would have to try and hold out for 3 hours, and the likelihood of everyone being able to do that is not high. You should be evacuated, but if you are failed to be evacuated for one reason or another, I'm sorry. Though, once again, this is all under the pretense that you are hearing this as is to be expected, and not in some way that we are not expecting, such as, I don't know, this tape ending up in the hands of a news publication. If you are hearing this through one of said manners that are not expected, we should have protocols to deal with that, I'm very certain. Usually we would probably try to cut it well before we get into any of the dangerous stuff, but I'm not entirely sure we have been able to, since you've managed to make it to the end of this recording. I'm going to assume, though, that if you're not hearing this last part, you're hearing the initial tape and this last paragraph is slated to be cut out whenever that is being played in the auditorium. So, yeah. I'm going to do a bit of a pause now so that they can cut out around this. Now then, recruits, you should start to listen to the man in red, and I need to go record the other 10 tapes I've been told to record today. Archivist Whiskey, over and out.